Good blessed Saturday morning, October the 8th, 2022. It's about 11:28 a.m. I greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. Doesn't matter whether you're the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter whether you're the proclaimed toughest to the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you're my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. It doesn't matter whether you like what I do, say, or anything about me. That's your prerogative. You have a right. Just like I have a right, a First and the 14th Amendment right to speak, a freedom of speech as I please, as long as it's not threatening and as long as I am doing it in accordance with the law. This building here, the C.F. Bowen Center, back in the 50s and the 60s, maybe even in the 40s, it used to be called the Lincoln High School, and I think had the Lincoln Elementary School here. This is 700, it used to be Elm Street. Now it's called Cy Williams Street or Cy Williams Avenue or something to that effect, because some blacks along with some whites said that there was a slave that was here once upon a time that was lived in Charleston, Missouri. I don't know nothing about the slave. I can't Google it up. I've been able to Google it up. But if it's anything like the slaves that's here today in Charleston, Missouri, or some of the generation of slaves that's here in Charleston, Missouri, speaking of the blacks, then you know they was the type of slave that Malcolm spoke about in the house versus the ones in the field. But the reason why I'm coming here is because I've been barred from this place as of March the 9th, 2022, by the executive director of the Charleston, Missouri Housing Authority, which is sitting right here, right next to it. But all of this land that you see here, even there at you see the vehicle at that stop sign, all of that field, and I'm gonna cover some more of it. All of this here, once upon a time, was what they called Lincoln School, where they separated. The whites back in the day didn't want blacks going to the same school as the whites. And if you see all of this here, you know, they tore most of it down. But this is where, you know, I'm an NAACP member. My two young daughters been NAACP members since they was 15, and they 16 and 17 now. I've been barred from there solely because I was complaining about a white family that continued to throw trash in their yard and in my bushes that separate the housing authorities from the property that I live on. And I'm gonna show you some more, but I just want to show you something now. I've been barred since March of this year, 2022, because of that. Right now we have a pending complaint with the Missouri Commission on Human Rights. Since I've been down there, this is the only way that I've been able to get justice in Southeast Missouri, in Missouri period, is by filing with the Human Rights Commission or filing federal lawsuits after the Human Rights Commission. But you know, all of this here I'm barred from. I can't go on the basketball courts with my daughters and them. And then there are sidewalks that goes around here and around the projects where I have to walk in the streets. But I'm gonna show you something else I'm barred from. And what I wanna let you know, if you look up I want y'all to look up this case. It's called Davis, the common spelling, Davis versus the Charleston, Missouri Consolidated School number 7, and versus the Mississippi County. Davis was some people that I met since I've been down here, because I stayed right on that corner when I came down here May the 3rd of 1996 with my grandmother. May she rest in peace. Most of y'all know her, Flora Ivy Scott, buried in the Mound City's Veteran Cemetery. But I lived right there on that corner of Vine and Boone Street. And it was a lady, where you see this empty lot at now, an elder lady that I met, real good lady. Her name was Annie Davis. Annie Davis had a daughter named Barbara Davis, this empty lot named Barbara Davis, and a son named Johnny Davis. They felt that they was being discriminated against because they was just segregated to go to this particular school here, which they didn't have no problem with. But the fact that the Charleston Consolidated School number 7, which is Charleston R1 School District today, they had better books. And that's what these people really wanted, better books. But they had to go all the way to the federal court in St. Louis. Some lawyers from St. Louis represented these black people. It was Annie Davis had to file for Barbara and Johnny Davis, because Barbara and Johnny Davis they were still minors. But my point is, I want to show you how racism was back then. And the case, I think, was settled in 1963, somewhere around there. But the lawyers that was representing the school to uphold racism, you see what I'm saying, to keep the blacks from going in there, the name of them is Banton and Bantam. I think it's B-L-A-N-T-O-N, Bantam and Bantam, out of Sykes, Missouri. Guess what? My complaint that's filed with the Human Rights Commission against the Charleston, Missouri Housing Authority, guess who representing them? Same ones, Bantam and Bantam. Show you how racism is still going on here in Charleston, Missouri in 2022. And back then, at the same time, the then Attorney General for the, I believe his name was Ashcroft, he fought against letting blacks being in the same schools as whites. But I just want to show y'all something else when I'm barred from, and I want to show y'all something to just show you how, don't get in there. Show you how racism is still going on, and they still got the same lawyers from 30 and 40 years ago. But all these blacks that's NAACP members that go here, they refuse to help me. But I'm gonna go and show you some more. This street here, beside Williams Avenue, when I first moved down here, it was called Elm Street. This is Cy Williams Avenue and Iron Banks. All of this here, I'm barred from. All of this used to be a part of Lincoln School. You see how they destroyed it? They tore all of this down. This should have been historical. This should have been historic land. You see what I'm saying? But all that's barred down. I'm barred from it, but you can go and murder somebody or shoot and kill somebody here in Charleston, Missouri, but the Housing Authority Executive Director, they welcome you in here as long as you're doing it in the black community. But when you speaking up against racism and things like that, like me, you get barred. You know, but I want y'all to see all this that I'm barred from. See, I got to walk in the streets. I'm finna show y'all some more that I'm barred from. They allow the Housing Authority to have dominion over this here. And like I said, I'm NAACP members, and the NAACP, they don't even speak up to try to help me, but I filed my thing myself with the knowledge that God gave me. You see what I'm saying? That's black and whites that know what these people did was wrong. You see what I'm saying? And they look and see, why don't the NAACP speak up? You know why? As long as they fill in their pockets like the other corrupted people, black and white, and if the shoe fit, wear it, they don't care. This is another place that the Housing Authority has got dominion over. It's called the Helen Kern Center. It's a community center. You see what it says? Community center. And the executive director of the Housing Authority has dominion over this. I'm borrowed from this here too. You notice I'm in the streets. This is the Helen Kern is a lady that was an NAACP member, and she stood up against racism. May she rest in peace. So did C.F. Bowen. He was the principal of the Lincoln School. And my auntie, my dad's sister, was the valedictorian of Lincoln School. But this is another place that I'm barred from, where I can't even walk in the sidewalk. You see what I'm saying? I can't go in there. And this where the NAACP have their meetings at now. They switched from the C.F. Bowen Center to here, but I can't go to neither one. But I just want to show you this. This been happening since March. All of this property here used to be Lincoln School. They tore it down, y'all. This is where they had blacks separate, segregated to not go to the Charleston R1 school district, which used to, back then in the 50s and the 60s, was the Charleston, Missouri Consolidated School number 7. You see the sidewalk? I can't go down it. If you notice, I'm in the streets. I just want y'all to just see all this here used to be Lincoln School, or where the C.F. Bowen Center is now the Civic Center, which I'm barred from a public place because I complained about a white family. And anybody know me, white and black, know I'm not racist. All this here. This baseball field, my daughters them 16 and 17. This baseball field ain't been used since they've been 5 and 6 years old. It's some sisters here, some black women, and I think I seen a couple of white women. They come out here and pray. You see they made Jesus up there. I be wanting to come up here to pray with them, but I can't. All of this here, I got to walk in the streets. Right ahead, straight ahead over there where you see that trash can, just yesterday, I think, they was giving out food, but I couldn't go on this here because I'm barred because of what I did. But, you know, the Human Rights Commission is looking into it. But I just want y'all to just see all the stuff I'm barred from. And then when you go to the projects down the street, you know, I got to walk in the streets because I can't get on their sidewalk. When they have events out here or in these places, I can't go because I'm barred. Now, as I finish this here up, I just want to let y'all see. This where everything originated from me being bandit. This place here where I'm living at, you see this? You see this fence? Go on the other side of it where you can see what it says on the other side. And all over, it's no trespassing. This fence here, a few years ago, not with the neighbors that I have now, but another neighbor I had to build this here to keep the peace. Me getting barred from the Housing Authority was solely because, now I've been living here since January the 19th, 2007. My oldest daughter, that's 17 now, she was 18 months old when we moved here. My youngest daughter, that's 16 years old now, she was 1 year old, because they're a year and a week apart when we moved here. Now, since we've been living here, that's been 15 years now. I want to show you something. You see these bushes? They separate this property from the Housing Authority property. You see these two big trees? We can't do nothing with nature. For the last 15 years, I've been out here. I would rake the leaves out of my bushes that blows from the Housing Authority. I didn't complain about it. I'll rake them and put them in piles and then take them to my backyard and burn them. This before the people on this corner here, right here on the corner of Vine in Wall Housing move here. Now, when they moved, it was a problem not only with them not trying to help with the leaves, but trash. And I complained to them several times. They didn't do nothing. I complained to the maintenance people. They tried, and then I complained to the foreman. He tried. Then I went to the executive director, Paul Page. It's like going to Paul Page, it was like talking to this thing here, this pole here. He did nothing. So I end up on March, because I was complaining from November, December, January, February, and March. March the 8th, I just sent a copy when Paul Page wouldn't do nothing. I sent a copy of the video with the trash to the hood in St. Louis. The very next day, I get a letter from, Paul Page typed up a letter that said I was banned and barred. Gave it to somebody in the police department. On the 12th of March, they sent me the letter. I mean, the police brought me the letter. The mayor, the former mayor, and the former city manager said the police department didn't have nothing to do, shouldn't have had nothing to do with that letter being delivered to me, because they have nothing to do with the housing authority. It wasn't a legal matter. If it was a legal matter, the executive director should have sent it to me certified mail after he done went to court. But you see all these sidewalks down here in the projects that they done built? I can't even walk on the sidewalk, so I gotta walk in the streets. Charles, Missouri is a small little town. I gotta walk in the streets. But this is what I want to say now. I've been complaining about this here on March the 28th, after I've been barred. No, let's go to March the 19th, after I've been barred. I was videoing here again to show that the trash still was out here. And right on this corner, where they had a trash can, the people I've been complaining about, no top on it, trash blowing out of it and blowing right into my bushes. And then a white guy that used to live with them on 15-year paper named Brian Campbell, look him up. He came from around the corner with some brown coveralls on, telling me to, threatening me, telling me to stop videoing. And I asked him, did he live here? And I want y'all to look at it, because I remember March the 19th, because on March the 19th, that made the year anniversary when my son in Carbondale was found hung in Carbondale, Illinois. So I remember that real well. Now, I'm barred from there, but this individual that came threatening me from this house that I've been videoing, this individual is on 15-year probation for shooting somebody in Sykes in Missouri a few years ago, but he allowed that. He even allowed to threaten me on their property while I'm in the streets. But then I want you to look at another video dated March the 28th, 2022, when that same white individual, a white female from this house, that I'm barred from being on this property, she came from that house all the way here on my property, beating on this door. Me and my daughter came out. I marched her all the way out of here. She got back in her van. She pulled up past this here pole, and she was mad because I videoed showing the children from that house tearing my bushes up. She got out and went over here, and she said, I'll tear your bushes up too. Now, coming from this house, I'm barred, but they can come on my property, and she tearing my bushes up. And I removed off of my bushes. And I remove her again, anybody else. Then a mob of individuals from the projects, a few blacks that's on 15 years parole for shooting at people, getting out on murders, but the housing authority didn't say nothing. For about 16 minutes, they was coming down here trying to attack me and my two daughters. From that house, projects, to some of the other ones, white and black, with that female, and they trying to attack me and my daughters. Now, had not the neighborhood came together and stood with me and my two daughters, What would that mob from the Charleston, Missouri Housing Authority would have done to my then 15 and 16-year-old daughters? My 15 and 16-year-old daughters was traumatized by that. Some years back, they was traumatized in the Charleston R1 school district when they allowed a bus driver to do something then to my 5-year-old daughter. And they didn't do nothing about it. And my 2 daughters had to see a psychologist for 8 years. And that psychologist helped them start back to adapting, but then they had to put up with this attack. No police came, no sheriff department came. The housing authority seen the video and didn't do nothing to none of them. These same individual felons, some of them live in that house, white and black. Some live down the street, black. And let me show you on the 4th of July what happened of 2022. And it's a police report on it. Some of these people from the projects, it was nighttime, couldn't see who it was, but you could tell it came from the projects. You see how this area here was on fire because they were shooting them bottle rockets or them Roman candles or whatever they shot. You can see it on my YouTube that I made. I believe it was from January the 5th, 2022, and this was on fire. One of my neighbors came over trying to get some of it out. Then the police came. You know, as always, when something happened to me, the police is late or the fire truck can't find my house. But one police came after he talked to me for a while. He came and took his fire extinguisher, spreading it out. But they got enough time to send a police over to my house to deliver me a letter from the housing authority. But I'm just showing you some of the things. But some of the people from the housing authority said they're afraid of me. Now, if anything, me and my 2 daughters should be afraid of the people that live over here. Some of the other people that live down the street that's allowed to live in the project because they came and attacked me. How many times have me and my daughters went to the projects trying to attack anybody? How many times have me and my daughter came beating on somebody's door? See, that was a crime. The police seen it, but they got the police on the payroll. The police, not all of them, but the chief of police, the sheriff here in Mississippi County, Paul pays the executive from the housing authority, and some of the people that work for them. Not all of them. If the shoe fit well, they working hand in hand. They won't bar these individuals that got these murders and gun cases and on probation. They won't bar them out of there. Now, they offered me a settlement to cut down these trees. Hey now, to cut down these 2 trees. You see what I'm saying? They were going to cut them down anyway. They want to cut them down because they don't want to be raking them leaves, something I've been doing for 15 years. Then all of a sudden they want to put a chain fence up here, something they should have been doing it for a while. You see what I'm saying? Then keep me a partial ban, saying that I can't go in the projects. I got friends in the projects. I ain't did nothing. If a person can have a gun case and live up in these projects, have 3 fires down here at 719 Vine Street before they move here, and then their house burn up, if they can still live in there and got a gun found up in there, you see what I'm saying? Right today when I was coming out of my house, when I turned this corner from Vine to Warehousen, I seen their little son. You see what I'm saying? With a big pit bull, but they complain about other people that don't live in the projects. You see what I'm saying? They daughter, my neighbor in the back of me, on Gale Street, caught their little daughter in their mailbox stealing this mail. Then some of their company stealing one of my neighbor's dog or puppy. But yet, I'm the threat. You see what I'm saying? How am I a threat when I'm standing up to trying to get this filth, keep this filth from being over here? But this what I'm going to leave y'all with. You know, y'all ain't looking at the housing authority and they attorneys. They not looking at the mental anguish me and my daughters went through. Putting a chain fence up there, I don't care if you put one up there or not. Cutting them trees down, I don't care if you put them up there or not. Then you say you gonna monitor them with their trash and they leave. You ain't been doing it since November. Why are you going to all of a sudden start it now? You ain't doing me a favor with this. You're doing yourself a favor. See, other people in the projects is scared to stand up against y'all because they don't want to be put out. If you want to settle with me and not go to the federal courts, because that's where it's going to end up going, to the federal courts after it leaves the Human Rights Commission. You see what I'm saying? One thing about it, y'all attorney, if I was a threat to the housing authority or any of these tenants, all you have to do is take me to the 33rd Circuit Court here in Charles, Missouri, Mississippi County, file charges with the prosecuting attorney, the police office, and the sheriff's department, and we'll go up there and show them these videos with all that mob of people from the project trying to attack us, with the white boy coming from this same house that's on 15-year paper, and the one that living there is on paper for guns. You see what I'm saying? Let's take all that to court. But if you want to settle with me, you better talk about paying my daughters and them something financially. You better talk about moving them people, move them next door to y'all, to Bannon and Bannon and his family. Move them next door to Paul Page and his family. Because down here when they was living at 719, where that big blue dumpster is at, people filed a petition against them then. The difference in me and them people, I'm putting mine on video. When somebody else went and complained about that family when they was living down there, Paul Page asked them, is they racist because they complaining about a white family? Is he racist? If a black family was doing what they doing, they wouldn't only be in jail, they'd have been out of here. Peace be still.